Alright everyone, what's going on? A couple of things to note. I am filming this with my camera. I'm not doing it with a program that would be able to record up the screen. I've tried that. All the results have come up basically looking awful, and this is the best quality I can possibly get, and I apologize if it's still not good enough, but anyway. And another thing, that blowing noise is my heater. But what we got right now are the leaked images for the Heroes and Heralds mode, and yes, Megaman right here. Megaman Classic is probably going to cause the most amounts of rage ever. But for now, we're going to look at the characters. And I'll try to explain who they are and where they come from. As for history, I'm probably not going to go too much into their history unless something interesting happens with them. Like Loki, for example. This is Thor's brother. Howard the Duck is actually was supposed to be a playable character in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Or he was rumored to be, because of this image right here. If you notice right here, it says Howard the Duck. Howard the Duck was supposed to be, you can't even see it. You'll probably, there you go. Howard the Duck was supposed to be this character right here. Not this character. He was supposed to be a playable character. And it's interesting because, like, Howard the Duck is one of the weirdest characters ever to be put into a Capcom fighting game. It's simply hilarious. But anyway, oh yeah, and here's Megaman and Firebrand. So Firebrand was supposed to be playable, and he eventually did become playable, which is kind of funny. And Bison is nowhere to be found, even on the cards. So Strider Hugh was eventually playable, which is cool. Thanos is actually an H&H card, which is pretty cool. Venom is anti-venom, so there you go. I bet you that was in... I bet you this is all in the planning stages, because almost all of these characters that are on here are either playable or they're H&H cards. Like Megaman, for example, himself, he is a H&H card. And Bison isn't even a Heroes and Heralds card. All the Street Fighter cards, you're not going to see any Street Fighter characters, because Capcom, I guess, loves that franchise still way too much for its own good. Moving on, Miss Marvel is actually a Heroes and Heralds card. She-Hulk is playable. Shumagorath is playable. Yeah, you get the picture. At this point. So anyway, Howard the Duck, Iceman from Marvel 2, Hulkbuster armor, and Abomination. Okay, now these two are some of the weirdest additions for H&H cards, but it's probably for a good reason. Hulk really doesn't have any villains in the game to speak of. I don't think Iron Man does either, except for maybe like Galactus, for example. But the Hulkbuster armor and Abomination do give him some edge. Do give him a little bit more of an edge. We have Jin Sentome from... I can't remember his game series, but he was in the original Marvel vs. Capcom and Marvel vs. Capcom 2 as a playable character. Juggernaut? Alright. Capcom wanted Juggernaut as a playable character, but it was not meant to be. So, because Marvel basically said no. And Kane Marco isn't Juggernaut anymore anyways. Colossus is using the Juggernaut helmet. So, I have no idea why, but anyway. Kingpin. I bet he's probably going to be an awful, awful card, so we'll move on. Just know it's Kingpin. We got Kyousuke here from Rival Schools, and he was actually playable in CVS too, a while ago. We got Lady, who is from Devil May Cry 3. We got... Lady was probably one of the more requested characters, so why not? We got Leon S. Kennedy, who probably was one of the more requested characters, and really I don't see the point of putting him into a Capcom fighting game when he would probably just be another Chris. Sorry, Leon fans. We got Lilith, who actually was in Marvel 1, but as a complete palette swap for Morgan. So. Oddly enough, Morgan, that palette swap actually did have all of Lilith's moves. I have no idea. I can't even remember who this guy is, so... yeah, moving on. Let me know who he is in the comments. We have not Iron Fist, but Luke Cage. And this is the 70s Luke Cage that... This is not the current age Luke Cage. Like Iron Fist, they went back to one of Luke Cage's older outfits and just used that for the game. I guess to be cool, not to be cool and hip, but you get my point. Megaman X and Megaman Classic. X has a dash jump, and Megaman himself, who knows what he's going to be able to do, but this is going to cause a lot of rage right here, I guarantee you. Mephisto gets so fucked over in the game's endings. In one ending, Dante basically fucks him over in one ending by himself. Ghost Rider and Dante completely fuck him up. He just gets ravaged and destroyed in 2 endings or more in the game. It's funny. Red Hulk being in as a card, I have no idea why. When Red Hulk is already a costume, I guess it's to basically say, oh yeah, Red Hulk's kind of important when he's not. I'm assuming this is Missile from Ghost Trick. Feel free to correct me, but you never know. Multiple Man, I guess, is what his name. I don't know his name. But he makes copies of himself, so who knows. Feel free to leave a comment about this character too. We have Mystique from the X-Men. In the comics, she shapeshifts, so I have no idea what they're going to be doing with Mystique at all. We have the Lickers from Resident Evil. In the games, if they hit you once, you're dead, no matter what difficulty you're playing, so the Lickers are definitely a card to watch out for if they do anything special. Nick Fury is in his ultimate form, and that's the form most people will recognize, simply due to the fact of the Ultimate Marvel movies, and no one really recognizes the white Nick Fury. In fact, I was reading a comic the other day that had the 616 Nick Fury, and it just looks so odd and out of place, because we're so used to seeing Ultimate Nick Fury and everything, man. Nightcrawler, who actually was killed off in a comic series recently. I have no idea who she is, I really don't. And I know she's a Marvel character, and I know she's important, otherwise she wouldn't be there. We have Ultron. We have yeah, like, that's his right name, yeah, Ultron. We've got Bishamon. Hank Pym created Ultron and then he basically went batshit insane. Bishamon is from the Darkstalkers games. I believe this is Thor's brother from the Fear Itself story arc, if not Thor, Odin. Odin's brother. He's basically the one that summons the big baddie in Fear Itself. And he's not really, he's powerful, but his character has like no depth. Scarlet Witch, who is the sole purpose of Magneto's alternate costume existing, and for that reason she deserves an H&H card, because that alternate, besides the Megaman X outfit, that's the sickest costume in the game, man. Bar none. We also have a Breath of Fire character. I don't know her name. I only know the main character, like the actual main series character. At least at Breath of Fire 4, who was Ryu. We got Charles Xavier from the X-Men. This is actually one of the Galactus' heralds. I cannot remember his name for the life of me, so if you want to leave a comment, go right ahead. But I do remember him because I played a card game called the Versus System, and it was a card game that combined DC and Marvel into like a little Versus card game. And it was actually really fun to play, but UDE got shit canned out of that game, so, and really they stopped supporting it after Yu-Gi-Oh! After they stopped supporting Yu-Gi-Oh! But that's another topic for another time. If you want more on that, just leave comments and I'll post the whole story behind it. It's actually quite funny. It's quite funny why Upper Deck no longer goes into the card game business. We've got Punisher. I guess he's going to be a long-range projectile card. We've got Miss Marvel, who, like before... Hi, Miss Marvel! She was actually one of the rumored characters. This came off of the, oh, what was that wall? Shoot. It was that Capcom Europe. Yeah, it was posted on Capcom Europe. I think in January of last year, I believe, January or December, and everyone flipped out when this was released. It was actually quite hype. We got Lord Raptor from Darkstalkers. We got the Red Skull, who is actually a big, huge player in Fear Itself. I'm not surprised. This is probably Jin's robot. We got Roll, who is playable in 3 Capcom games. But in Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, she uses she's a cleaning robot. So she uses all of her cleaning tools in that game, which is pretty funny. We got the modern day Rogue, and 90s Rogue is so much better. I can't begin to describe. Sabretooth, 90s Sabretooth, mind you. So I'm actually kind of surprised Marvel let Capcom put him in Heroes and Heralds. I guess it's just an homage to the fact that he was in the Versus series. So we got Sasquatch from Darkstalkers. We got Kobun. We got the Serbots, or the Kobuns, or however you want to say them. I guess Kobun is Tron's main Serbot, but these are the Serbots for sure. On the next page. Hope I can get to all of them. We got Skullomania. I don't know that. No, that's not Skullomania, my bad. But I have no idea who he is then. because I just remembered Skullomania is the dude who wears a skull outfit, but that's not Skullomania. That's another guy, but I know he's from Street Fighter. He looks like he's from Street Fighter EX or Rival Schools. So. No, wait, yeah, he is from Rival Schools. So as I just said earlier, there are no Street Fighter characters. So he's from Rival Schools. I have no idea what his name is. We got Anakaris here from Darkstalkers. This is a character I want to say is from Plasma Sword. Go ahead and feel free to comment. Anti-Venom from Marvel Comics. This is actually the Brock Venom that we will never ever see in a game again, because if we're gonna get Venom, we're getting Anti-Venom, and we're not gonna get the 90s Venom that we all know and love from Marvel vs. Capcom 1. This is Basu, and Basu was actually in Tatsunoko vs. Capcom. Beast, I'm guessing they went with 90s Beast because we know him from the video games and from the cartoon series, which isn't really surprising. An Okami character, I have never played an Okami game, but I do know about the series, so leave a comment with her name. I have no idea who she is. We got Black Panther, we got Bullseye, Captain Blue, which is okay, awesome. He's probably going to be doing something real good. We got Captain Commando right here with his gang, Chuck Green, Claire Redfield, Colossus. I want to say that's Polaris or Medusa, I think her name is. Medusa is the wife of Black Bolt on the moon, the Imperfects. But it's one of those two characters. Cyclops. Old school Cyclops, by the way, it's not 90s Cyclops. The worst inclusion ever for H&H card, Dakin. I have no idea why they put Dakin in this game, because there's no reason for him to even be in this game. As you can tell, I don't really like the character because I see no point with him. I really don't. Daredevil. Fiend Fang Foom, who was actually in Arthur's Ending. We have a character from Devil May Cry, a boss. Astaroth from Ghosts and Goblins, who's the main boss. We have Devil-Eye. I can't remember the game she comes from, but she was an assist-only character in Marvel vs. Capcom 1. Dimitri from Darkstalkers. Doc Ock, who was actually a playable character in one of the Marvel vs. Capcom, and on the disc for Marvel vs. Capcom 3, there was actually a file with Dr. Octopus in it, who was supposed to be a downloadable character, but his character was never finished in time, so that's why he's here, along with some of the other characters. I have no idea who this guy is, and he's from Marvel, and I should know who he is, because if you can't tell, I read the comics all the time, and I try to read as much as I can, but I have no idea who he is. This is Bucky Barnes. He is the new Winter Soldier, and like I said, if I remember correctly, Winter Soldier doesn't come out till December or January, and that's probably when Heroes and Heralds will come out. If it comes out anytime before then, I'll be genuinely surprised and thrilled, because I'm looking forward to H&H. Miles Edgeworth from Ace Attorney. Miles is Phoenix's childhood friend, and the way they met is they had a case in high school, and not high school, but in elementary school, and actually Edgeworth was actually a defendant instead of a prosecutor like he is in the games, and he defends Phoenix and wins the court case, so it's pretty cool. We've got Jack from Power Stone, and I can imagine his card's probably going to be similar, like how the Power Stone games were. The entirety of the Fantastic Four in one image, which is crazy. I can only imagine what they're going to do with them. It's going to be nuts. Put these guys with Super Scroll for double power, I guess. It's going to be nuts. We have these cats. I'm assuming they're from Breath of Fire, specifically Breath of Fire 4 from the looks at the artwork. I'm not completely sure. Feel free to comment, but I have no idea who those kitties are, or I have no idea who those cats are. Franziska Von Karma. She takes the place of Miles after Miles loses a case and goes on his hiatus, or he leaves the office for whatever reason. I have only played the first Ace Attorney game, but Franziska Von Karma is actually one of the more popular characters in the series, so. And she wields a whip, as seen here, and she whips people with it, as obvious as that was. She seriously carries the whip around with her everywhere. It's just funny and hilarious. Ryu from Breath of Fire. I know he's the main hero of Breath of Fire 4, because I remember an advertisement when I was a kid. And I remember seeing the game in shop, at GameStop, when I was a kid a lot. At GameStop when I was a kid. Holy shit. Gene from God Hand. Let's just move on. Gene from God Hand. Gene was actually supposed to be a character in the game, but he got cut at the last minute. So, Which kind of sucks because we could have used another God Hand character. I'm assuming this is a character from God Hand as well. You can feel free to correct me on that. But she's either from God Hand or Breath of Fire. This is one of Captain Commando's ninjas. It doesn't look like it, but that is a Captain Commando ninja. Godot is from Phoenix Wright. And Godot, those are actually laser eyes he could shoot from his face. In the games, Godot has like a little trial case. You'll have to play the games to figure out more because I can't really remember it right now either. Utao the Watcher. Okay, this is going to be interesting because Utao in the comics really can't do anything outside of watch. This includes like what ifs with Age of Apocalypse and everything, but he's the one who actually opens and starts all of them. So it's going to be interesting to see what Utao, what his card's going to do. I wonder, it's going to be interesting because in Marvel Zombies Return, not Marvel Zombies Return, but Marvel Zombies 4, I want to... Yeah, Marvel Zombies Return. Yeah, I was right the first time. Marvel Zombies Return. Utao actually uses his powers to stop the zombies from spreading their virus to the other universes, which is pretty awesome. And Utao can't die either, by the way, as evidenced in the comics. So we have Hayatou from Plasma Sword. And the interesting thing about Hayatou is he was playable in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I have no idea who he is, but I know he's from the Rival Schools games. I don't know his name. I know it's a game series. This is a dragon from Monster Hunter, and I'm amazed they got anything Monster Hunter related into this game. That blows my friggin' mind. Seriously. That's awesome. In fact, they got two things Monster Hunter related, and they're both dragons. This is a character from Captain Commando's gang. I don't know who he is exactly, but he's from Captain Commando. We have the Green Goblin. Greenie is actually a card in the game, so... No Spider-Man villains in the main roster, but we do have two of them, actually three of them, as H&H characters. Blade, from Blade. He looks like Wesley Snipes, so that's not really a surprise there. Silver Samurai, he was actually playable in the 90s arcade games. Like X-Men Children of the Atom, I think it's his first playable appearance. I know he's playable on Marvel 2, but I can't remember any of the other games he's playable in. Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer is a Fantastic Four character, and he makes sense that he's an H&H card. His ability might be... He controls the power Cosmic as well. So, who knows? He might be a Heroes Only card if they do go down that path, which would be pretty cool and force you to strategize. We have a Breath of Fire character, an Onimusha character, and we have an actual Onimusha character right here. His name's Soki, and he was actually in TBC, so I'm not surprised they actually used him from TBC as an H&H card. We have a character here who honestly reminds me of Hellboy, and I know it's not a Hellboy character. It just does because of the overall color, the shading, and the art style. This is a God Hand character. I have no idea who she is. I cannot remember her name. So feel free to leave a comment. We have Dazzler from X-Men Comics. I have no idea who this guy is. Given the general mysticism around him, I'm assuming it's a Breath of Fire character. Because of all the other artworks involving Breath of Fire characters. We have Thanos. He was actually a boss in Marvel Superheroes. And he was pretty freaking awesome to play in that game. He also used every single one of the Infinity Gems on you, which is pretty cool. We've got Elektra here. And she actually supposedly died. Here, finger quotes, died in the comics. But she really didn't. That was a fake Elektra as a scroll. As we all know 2 years ago, which eventually led to the events of Secret Invasion. An event that did not go down too well. It was actually pretty bad. And I remember reading almost all of it. The only thing that really made it good is that Nick Fury appeared, and the 616 Nick Fury. And for the record, the 616 Nick Fury is just as awesome as the Ultimate Nick Fury. But yeah, now this guy, I want to say is either another Herald of Galactus, or he was in Fear itself as a major villain. Pardon me, I had to take a drink there. But yeah, he was a Heroes and Heralds. He's one of his heralds, and I think his name is Destroyer. Feel free to correct me. But the Amazing Spider-Ham, so freaking awesome. That's all I have to say about him. A dragon from that honestly looks like another Monster Hunter dragon, and it's a Monster Hunter Tri-Dragon, I want to say. which is pretty cool because we really didn't get anything Monster Hunter related in the game at all, not even a stage. But it's pretty cool that we managed to get at least a major enemy from the Monster Hunter games. Vile is next, and this is an interesting character because one of Zero's outfits, if you already know, is based off of Vile, which leads me to believe that Natsuma wanted Vile playable, but Capcom was just all like, haha, no, sorry, Firebrand's more important than your stupid Megaman character. In short, Firebrand really wasn't more important than Vile, sorry, but I could see why they didn't put Vile in the game. X would have to be put into the game because they're rivals. Zero and Vile aren't. But Vile is kind of like Cable. Actually, I would imagine his playstyle, would be like Cable, because he plays a lot of traps in Maverick Hunter X, and that V on his forehead is his Maverick Hunter X incarnation. In his regular, from the Super Nintendo games, at least in the first game, he actually had the Sigma symbol on his forehead. We've got Black Widow, and we've also got Wasp. Wasp is Henry Pym's wife, and I'm amazed Henry Pym, not Henry Pym, but Hank Pym, or Mr. Pym, whoever the hell his first name is, I can't remember right now. This is his wife. Yeah. She's also a founding member of the Avengers, so that's probably why she's here. Black Widow is also a member of S.H.I.E.L.D., and she works alongside Nick Fury a lot. That's probably why she's here, and I'm not really surprised. Dr. Wily is Capcom's most recognizable villain ever. If you dare try to deny this, you're a fool, in my opinion. There. Dr. Wily, we've already seen his effect card too. We've got the main character from Ghost Trick, and we also have the psychopathic shopkeeper from Dead Rising as a H&H card, which is kind of surprising because we have 2 Dead Rising cards. I did not expect any kind of Dead Rising cards at all. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool how many cards we have. And now I'm gonna go back to the issue of Megaman while I still have 8 minutes, because I can upload videos up to 30 minutes. But anyway, oh, excuse me. Basically, Megaman. Don't give up yet, Megaman fans. We've got the most H&H representation out of any other thing in the game. We've got 4 cards right here, and 2 pages right here. Chances are the Megaman cards are probably going to end up being either the best or the most mediocre in the entirety of H&H. Mega Man Classic's probably going to be really good, but since Mega Man Classic isn't in the game, who, you might ask, are they going to put in the games as a playable Mega Man character? Well, the answer is fairly simple. They'll probably end up putting Mega Man Full Nut in the game. And if you want my opinion on the matter, I would rather have been him or Mega Man EXE. Star Force really doesn't have the staying power of a Mega Man representative, and it would just send Japan into a rage. I'm not kidding you. Japan probably did rage when Capcom put Mega Man into the game. It's not just the American Mega Man audience raging over the whole Marvel vs. Capcom 3 crap. It's Japan as well. Japan and Europe. Everyone all over the world is pissed at Capcom for the supposed treatment of Mega Man. But honestly, they are trying to make it up by giving us more Mega Man stuff. And Mega Man has 6 Heroes and Heralds cards, which is an absurd number of cards. Considering everything, man. It's just an absurd number. The only series that honestly beats it is the X-Men. And for good reason, because the X-Men are what makes Marvel Marvel, in my opinion. Because without the X-Men, it'd be like Marvel would just be like DC with emotional superheroes, and that just wouldn't make sense. So. Alright. That's gonna do it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you found it very informative. I hope you enjoyed listening to me rant for over 24 minutes. Anyway, guys, adios.